Why do you need these pictures?
I don't know, man. Like what Kieran was saying, he got his new phone. It's Face ID to unlock it, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
it
Kieran
is,
Kieran just doesn't like it because it's like, well, Apple owns my face now, you know.
Like I mean, it's pretty specific to say like, your face will not leave this phone. You know, like your information is secure here, but it's still like.
How many terms and agreements in my lifetime have I just like sold my soul to the devil without reading it, you know? Like
I've just kind of accepted this point that Disney owns like everything I am.
Yeah, I don't know.
For all of the various things I've done.
Yeah. Terms and agreements. Like every time I see them I feel guilty and it's like I should probably read this. But it's like, it's so long. That's how they get you. That is how they get you. Like,
there was this one app that was, like, going around. It is, like, When Will You Die app. Then it was, like, When Will You Die timer. And I got it, and I was, like, curious. And then I got it, and it only said I had, like, it opened, and it showed me. And then it was, like 100 days or whatever. And then I, like, went off, and then I went on it again. And then the terms and services went on. And I deleted it after. I didn't want to hit agree just in case.
Because they're gonna kill you. They're gonna be like, we're gonna make sure this comes true.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that's the perfect scheme. It just when will I die? Now.
Yeah.
But
they were right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But only if you hit agree to the terms and services. Then you sell it. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
That's pretty funny. Well. It's probably pretty good. Welcome to Unorganized Thought, a podcast where the generation nobody cares about talks about things that don't matter.
You joke to death.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think Kieran's got some topics for us to build off of, and then we'll build into some other stuff if we need to fill for time. But yeah,
because that's what we are here, all filler.
All filler.
Just nothing important.
Yo, you suck.
Anyways, I forgot to introduce us last time. Okay. So, we're the Akhtar brothers. I'm Aidan.
And I'm Kieran.
And our special guest this week is
Owen
Gustafson.
Not Akhtar brother. Sadly.
Honorary Akhtar brother. And so, yeah, last week we had Quinn Huckerby on, if you were wondering who that guy was. I think I did little things, and maybe I'll do that this time. Look, wow, look, a little name. Look at your name. Wow, I really hope I can do that this time.
Our hands are gonna be like,
yeah. Wow, here it is.
They made that joke on something.
I was really lost there. I thought you were there. I was like, "There's no name tag. What are you talking about?"
We'll add it in post. Anyways. What do you have for us, Kieran?
Well, I have a couple things that are just kind of rumors and possible news from this week. They're just kind of things that I've seen. The first one, I don't know how much Owen cares about DC and the whole movies going on over there.
Okay.
But I saw the rumor that I saw going around this week was that since Henry Cavill is gone, because all of their superhero lineup is leaving, they were looking at a new Superman, and so allegedly Michael B. Jordan had gone in for a talk with them and talk about being Superman. So I was wondering what you guys possibly thought about that, because I do have a bit of follow-up information on it.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I really don't care about Superman.
Yeah,
I really have never liked Superman, and it's good. It's progressive. And like I sort of question whether or not that's a stunt on DC's part to just kind of be like, hey, look at us, look what we have. We're progressive into the world. If it's genuine or not, it doesn't really matter because it's happening anyways. If that goes through, it's exposure for like everyone, and regardless whether it came from that place or not. That's what it is. But I don't know. I like Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, me too.
He's a rather heroic fellow. So,
do you think there's Because he was in, like, how many Marvel movies was he in? He was in, he was in Black Panther.
Yeah, he's in Black Panther, but then he was in the Fantastic Four, which isn't MCU.
Yeah, which isn't MCU, but still like Marvel property. He was the
And
Human
then I
Torch.
think he's gonna be in What If series.
Oh yeah, as Killmonger.
I think so.
But-
But he gets in trouble for that. Does it matter? Dude, they have, like...
Well, they killed him, so I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like he's
That's
got a
true.
bit of
He's,
leeway.
yeah, it's like, you guys killed me off, man. Like,
Yeah.
I could do what I want.
What was it? I think that he's a pretty good actor, and so
Yeah.
I think that he'd be able to bring something interesting to that role, which Superman severely has lacked in the
Mhm.
past.
Yeah.
What was the
Yeah.
last Superman movie that came out? That was, like,
Justice League.
Justice League, yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
there was, like,
But he's
Man of
busy in it.
Steel was the last like
was that the
solo
the
movie.
standalone one?
Yeah.
And like I don't know, it's just it's so weird the way DC has and like they're only just now kind of finding their footing, because now they're focusing on the movies themselves and then building universe after.
They finally
they figured out the key to a cinematic universe, because Marvel has been, what is it, 11 years of just movies with the slow burn. But they immediately, like, they did Superman, and then they did Dawn of Justice, Batman versus Superman, where they introduced the entire Justice League in a
And they
series
all
of
fought.
YouTube clips, and Wonder Woman came and fought, and, like, spoiler alert, but, like, Superman dies in that movie, in the second movie that he's in. And so it's like, well, like, where are we going from here
But
now?
not only does he die in that movie, but at the end you see the rocks moving around, so it's like,
Yeah, like the dirt.
everyone knew he's alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, like, nobody ever
But then-
believed it, and
but
so it
then the
wasn't
other
worth
thing is,
anything,
like,
and
They weren't even consistent because the rocks moved around, but that must have just been like a gravitational anomaly, because then
because that
the
wasn't
giant
how he came
point-
back.
Yeah, the giant point of the next movie was them bringing him back. So
Yeah.
it just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I think that Michael B. Jordan would be good for that. You know, like maybe do some more interesting stories with
Yeah.
with Superman.
Superman always kind of has lacked personality.
Yeah.
I would go watch it just for the fact that it's Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly,
And I
I
feel
like
like there's a lot of people that would do that.
Mhm.
I mean, that would be the most interesting thing about Superman to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you
honestly.
know? Is it gonna be like? Are they gonna start with a whole new origin story again?
They probably would, which I would hope they wouldn't do, because that was the thing when Civil War and Batman v Superman came out. One of them was much better, and one of them redid an iconic hero's backstory, and the other didn't.
Yeah, with
you know?
Spider-Man.
It's like Spider-Man was introduced in Civil War, and they said, "Here's this guy. Here's what he's about. You all know what happened. Here we
We
go."
don't have to go through
Whereas
this for the
in
7th time.
BVS, they just went, "Oh, you want to see Batman's parents die again? Here you go." You know?
This time Thomas Wayne goes for a punch.
Yeah. Yeah. But then, like, yeah. So I think that would be probably a wiser thing to do, is just kind of drop in and just go, "Hey, we all know how Superman
Yeah.
works. He fell out of the sky. He was a baby. You got a blanket. It's his cape. I don't know." Like,
Well,
Yeah.
are they going
Go.
to, like, kind of retcon the universe? Is he going to be in the DCU?
and that,
or, like,
who knows?
because
like, they did the Joker. That's not in the same. They did Shazam, but that's in the
That
same
is
one.
in the same one, yeah.
Which
And
is
so-
now like the Aquaman universe, because that universe is just whatever's the most successful movie in that.
Yeah,
Because it was like, well, now it's Wonder Woman, but now it's Aquaman.
Yeah.
And now Shazam's here.
Well, I think Wonder Woman is still. That's not one that they're retconning. They're
no.
probably
And
gonna
so,
go forward with Wonder
what's your
Woman.
universe?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the thing,
Aquaman,
because
Shazam, Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
Batman and Superman are gone.
yeah, and that's exactly what I was kind of saying, is that they only just now are finding success in their main universe, but at the point where Batman and Superman as actors are both gone, Superman is now gone after having died and been brought back. So are you just gonna, like, kill him again? Are you gonna pretend that
Just
it's been
pretend
Michael
he's
B.
gone.
Jordan this whole time?
Well, and
Or
see,
are
that's
you
the
going
thing
to
is,
make him a different Superman who will
and-
take up
and
the
so
mantle?
from-
Which I think is an okay angle to take if you want to put him in the
Yeah.
main universe. Just be like, hey, he also survived Krypton
Well, what I think
exploding.
what I think that they might do, and what I would do if I was DC, is it from their kind of announcement of like, this is our DC universe. It kind of seemed like that they might be doing like a more different universe.
Yeah,
kind of
more
thing.
alternate universe.
Yeah, which I think is good because that's kind of always something that I've thought about DC more is that they do that kind of like, well, this guy's from this universe and this one's from this one, you know,
Yeah, alternate
yeah,
reality.
Like
or
they've kind of seemed more like
more
that. Like, and I know
multiverse-centered.
Marvel has that too. Like they've got the main universe and like all the other ones, but I don't know. I've just never thought of it as much with them. Where because like DC, I feel like they do something with it every big event. It's like,
there's
oh
like
my god,
universe is
communist
restarting,
Superman's here.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And so like I think that, but then
That's more their wheelhouse.
yeah, and so
like,
I think that it would
from
be
a certain
smart
point of
for
view.
them to adopt that in the universe, especially since they went crazy and just said, well, what if we just made a Joker movie? Well, isn't Jared Leto the Joker? Like, what was the plan here?
Yeah,
you know,
it's kind of independent on
well,
its own.
it is independent, and
yeah.
it almost feels like when Disney was making Marvel movies and Fox and Sony were still like,
Yeah.
hey, here's Spider-Man. That's what it feels like. But they're all
But they're
DC
still-
has them
yeah,
all,
yeah.
and so it's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
But I think I think that they should do it in his own little pocket bubble. They'll go, here's Superman, Michael B. Jordan Superman, yay! Because I think that's what they're doing with the Batman, with Robert Pattinson, with that one, and I think that's going to be his own little thing.
And then maybe they'll jump.
And that's what
over
I was thinking because
the-
I think Michael B. Jordan, they're kind of around the same age, and those two would be an interesting. I would like to see those two as Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
Like I think that would be an interesting dynamic
Mhm.
potentially. Even though I think Robert Pattinson's probably like 5 feet taller than Michael B. Jordan. Which I don't love having a Batman that's taller than Superman again, because that was kind of weird when Ben Affleck's just like this wall of a man and Henry Cavill's just like, all right.
Oh my god!
I thought I was the biggest. But yeah, and so yeah, it's kind of a whole interesting thing going on there, because it poses the question, what happens if all of this goes right? You know, because DC's putting all of their coins everywhere.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, maybe we'll throw this one out there and that one will land.
Well,
because they've just kept going and nothing's landed for so long that they've just gone, huh.
And now
Oh, I caught a Joker.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I can't believe that actually worked.
Yeah.
You know?
And so now that they've kind of gone, okay, let's take a step back. They've actually taken like 3 steps back and are like, this is a different Joker in a different universe. This is a different Batman. This is a different Superman.
Which is,
you know, despite there having been Ben Affleck, you know,
which
and,
it's almost
and
like the
Jared
old
Leto.
style.
But then also, despite having this separate Joker movie, they're going forward with Harley Quinn and the
Birds of Prey.
What is it? Isn't it called like Harley Quinn's Ridiculous Adventures or something?
It's the Harley Quinn Birds of Prey movie, and also Suicide Squad 2, which is also have Harley Quinn in it.
Yeah.
So there's 2 Harley Quinn movies, with which Jared Leto Joker was part of. But now there's also the Joker.
There's this other Joker, but we know that one's out
He's
there. But
separate.
we also know that DC like super snubbed Jared Leto, and so he's probably not going to be in that universe. So we're missing a Joker, and we have this Joker that everybody loves now.
But
and
he's
it's kind of like
30 years ago.
yeah,
also.
and he's old, and so it's like
I would love to see Joaquin Phoenix come as an old man with a cane and Robert Pattinson just beat the crap out of him. When I go on stage, could you introduce me as? Oh!
yeah.
Yeah, just brutal.
We have yet to see the Joker movie. So
You haven't seen it yet?
no, have you?
I seen it. It was like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was like, I don't know. It like, I watched it and I like, when I watch a movie, I get like super into it. So I like kind of like, I was like, kind of messed me up. Because it's so like psychologically like brutal. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is a good movie.
Yeah, it's definitely on the list.
Yeah, I've heard, you know, but good things from people I trust on it. You know, like the bad things that you hear about are kind of like, you know, I need to judge that for myself, and the things that you're saying seem to be maybe biased by your like opinions on other things, and so like I kind of want to see it just for what it is and then judge it based on that, because like from what I hear, it's like you say, it's kind of more of a psychological like Inception or Fight Club kind of a what is real kind of a
which to me also is like,
well, it's
like,
cool. It's a
again,
different
it
genre,
is
a completely
cool,
different take for a superhero movie.
It is, but that's my catch, is that it's again, I'm speaking as I haven't seen it yet, but it almost strikes me as one of those movies where they had a script and then went, what if that was the Joker? You know, they had this script for this very psychological movie of this crazy guy, and then they went, well, what if we just made him the Joker? You know? Do you think it could be interpreted that way?
Yeah, for sure.
So, like...
Because you like... The full, like, beginning, like, more than halfway through the movie, like, he's not the Joker at all.
Yeah.
He's just some crazy dude who happens to be a clown. Which could also be, like... Yeah. That's, like... I never thought about it like that.
And so, like... and that's just kind of... kind of one thing that's, to me, is just kind of like... I don't know about that so much. But then, and like, that doesn't take away from it being a good movie. Yeah, like, I'm sure it's fine. And like,
it was a good movie, but now it's the Joker.
Oh yeah, like, and that's fine. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and I've always been just kind of curmudgeon-y about DC since like Man of Steel. I couldn't watch it all the way through. It was so boring. And it's been a while, and I'm older now, so I probably could watch it and maybe I'd enjoy it.
I've watched it all the way through. It's pretty slow.
Yeah, and like there's entire chunks of that movie that somehow I completely missed. Like, is there a big like octopus ship?
Yeah, that's the whole end.
Yeah, I totally missed that. But anyways, like after Dawn of Justice and Justice League,
weird. That you're right. There is that whole thing that's like eating the earth. But then in Batman v Superman, they're just like, no, it was just Superman and Zod. They were just destroying the whole thing, man.
It was Superman's fault, man.
Well, there's this giant octopus.
Stop the squid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the Joker though. The ending. I feel like Aidan, you for sure will have some beef with the ending.
Oh.
Just because the way it ended. I won't give you any more than that.
Okay.
But just like.
What does it end with? A cheeky look into the camera.
He's like,
and was it real?
No, it's like they tried to like, I don't know. Just when you see it,
okay. We'll have you back on and we'll talk about the Joker,
because I feel like you will definitely.
I'll have some opinions.
Yeah. And I'm interested for that.
And now. I'm a little confused by it because it kind of like shows that they might do more with it. Or they'll just leave it.
Okay.
But it's like, it just kind of like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
And so something that I could see them doing is like a weird, almost like universe. Like, I know they're doing Crisis on Infinite Earths on the TV universe, which is apparently...
Which is a whole other different thing.
Which is
I forgot about that.
It's apparently the most successful DC platform. But like... Which is weird to me, because it's like, why didn't you guys just hold off on that in TV world and then just do that with everything in a couple years? That would be crazy. You'd blow Endgame out of the water. That would be the biggest crossover event ever.
They're too
You're bringing
eager.
TV shows and this. I know, but
they
like
need
just
patience.
I know, like, so had you waited, then you can do it with your TV guys and these guys, because that's the whole point. It's the whole point. Infinite Earths. Now you've got 5 different Flashes, 3 from a TV show, and this one, you know.
And the Joker, old man.
And that's what I was thinking. Is like,
it's gonna be a joke.
They might do that kind of thing with the movies then, because TV and movies are always segregated for some reason. But do that with the movies, and then they'll just be like, Robert Pattinson, time portal, Joker's here now, punch Joaquin Phoenix in his weird skinny ribs and snap him in half.
Hey, take it
and then
son.
Michael B. Jordan's here, and also Harley Quinn from the other one, but then now she's fighting the Joker. I don't know, you know? Just like, bring all of them together.
Is like the Netflix Flash, is that one too? Is that like...
I think that's... I think they just brought that over CW? From the CW.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a new one. If it is a new one, then like...
It's like a TV show.
Yeah.
I watched a few episodes and then it was kind of bad, but...
Yeah.
But it's like... I don't even know if it's... Because like... Kind of a spoiler, but not really, because it's at the beginning.
I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah. He was like... The reason they did it is because there was like Star Labs, and there's like this these people were trying to make like some kind of energy, I don't know, and then like they released it, and then it exploded, and then there was a storm, and then he got hit by the storm, went into a coma for like 3 months or whatever, woke up and he could run super fast, and then there's a whole bunch of other people that are all the villains who also got hit by the storm, and they have like crazy powers. So it's because that's not how the Flash got his power, is it?
The Flash works.
Is that because what is the? I've never seen
I
the
don't
Flash
know the
beside.
definitive Flash story.
Yeah, I
Because
don't
I've
know
always
enough.
seen
kind
it
of
like-
knew it was something.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something around that, but
Got
yeah.
struck by lightning. Now he's fast.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always thought the Flash is kind of like. I mean, he's interesting. Like he's one of those fast guys. But as far as his rogues gallery, I've always been like, you guys couldn't have done better.
I'm the Boomerang Man.
Now-
I'm a big gorilla.
We got the Flash, but he just punches all his villains. So, we got the Yellow Flash, and he's also
He can run
the
really
Flash.
fast, but he can only run backwards.
like, yeah, like I don't know, because usually it's like, oh well, this guy's the opposite, so you can't have like slow man.
It
You
doesn't
know?
really work.
It just doesn't work.
He's just as fast as the Flash. Yeah, and like kind of just bringing it back with the Flash to the weird DC universe. It is
Oh.
Dawn of Justice. Just like, do I have this correct? That's the second installation of the DC cinematic universe.
Mhm.
In that movie, Bruce Wayne keeps periodically having these fever future dreams about like dystopian futures or whatever.
Which was
Like-
honestly the most interesting part of that.
And
movie.
yeah, and so I was like, okay,
That's why
We're kinda
that's
building-
Why, honestly, I'm kind of on the side to see the Snyder Cut, because like that was his project, and that he put those in there for a reason.
yeah.
Then they axed him, and we never.
and
found
that's why
out
it
stuff
seems
about
so
it,
weird in there is because
it never got paid
yeah,
off.
it never got paid off on.
And so that's
and,
why I'm kind of
like,
interested to see.
to see him come and be like, hey, Lois is the key or whatever. But now this Superman is gone, and so it's going to be kind of disjointed.
Yeah,
like it seems like a lot to kind of like throw the Flash in there, and be like, here's a tease for later, but like to have that heavy of a tease that early
because
on seems a little bit like again they're over eager.
Yeah,
they're
they are.
unwilling to wait for all of their things. So
like-
they immediately put in this weird dream sequence where there's like demons everywhere and Superman
I'm pretty
kills
sure
Batman.
I know
And that was
how
probably
that was gonna play
bleeding
out.
through the Flashpoint portal that he made.
Yeah, I can tell you how I'm pretty sure that was supposed to play out. But the other thing is, you're right, because it would have, like, had they had 10 years of build-up like Marvel, that would have meant a lot more, and it would have been
Yeah.
like, holy crap,
Well, because
things are going
after
crazy.
that happens, Bruce wakes up for the second time
And goes,
because
I'm gonna kill Superman.
yeah. Lois is the key. I think I'll kill Superman. It's like, Jesus Christ, man! Like, what did you take from that?
Yeah.
Like, he comes up, I went too far, or whatever the Flash says, or whatever.
Well, and so then, I think what that was, is that
That's like his sacrifice. He's
No,
going back
so-
in time to warn them because
yeah.
Superman becomes
So what I've
evil.
heard is that
But now he's not even
it was so that
He's
was
just
like
dead.
like relatively couple, that was some time in the future. Some of the Justice League were dead, and Superman, I think, had been brought back to life, so he still died in this timeline, and then he came back as like, or I don't know if he died and came back, or he just like succumbed to Darkseid energy, and so then Darkseid came and just like ruled Earth, and that was all the weird desert and the insect demons, and so then the last remaining Justice League guys were trying to figure out how to fix this, and so then like Batman and whoever else was there, him and the Flash, were just trying to like send the Flash back in time to try and tell him so that he could fix it. But then when they sent him there, it was like the wrong time, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh,
Well-
I came back too soon.
and
it's
I
not
kinda
right."
liked that.
And I think that was like interesting.
Yeah, I screwed up.
Yeah.
But remember this.
And
And then
so-
he wakes up. He's like, "Well, that was a dream. Let's kill
And so,
Superman."
and so it was kind of like maybe like I think it was like Lois died. That's what it was. Lois died. Then Superman succumbed to the evil energy, and then he went crazy and killed everyone. And so they had to ensure that Lois lived, but then they just killed Superman, and then Lois just happened to be there when they brought him back and just like got him to chill out. And so it was just kind of like, you guys really just abandoned what you were doing there. And it was also because I'm pretty sure the original plan was that they had Superman, then they were going to do Dawn of Justice, Batman vs. Superman, then they were going to do two Justice League movies. And that's what those were going to be. Maybe even 3, I'm not sure. But they were going to have a couple Justice League movies, and that was going to be their whole thing. But it was just like, it also, at the same time, kind of felt just they were rushing it because they're like, Marvel's at Infinity War, and we got nothing.
That's kind of the thing, is that they just needed to be more patient, because this stuff is cool. Like, when I'm thinking about it, it's like, to have the Flash have to go back in time, but, like, screw it up. I kind of like that circumstance. Like, it's kind of cool, because then he's like, well, crap, but, like, remember that Lois is important. Yeah. I don't have much time, and it looks like he was probably about to, like, explode, that poor man. That was probably his last moments. But, like, I don't know. I just, if they had kind of more committed to that, but without, like, immediately putting it in, you know? Like, in Avengers, you see Thanos. In the first Avengers movie, you see Thanos, like, look over his shoulder, and he's like, he's a little bit pinkish red, and he's changed a little bit, but, like, he didn't immediately go, I'm gonna get the Infinity Stones, you know? Like, he didn't say, look, here's my Infinity Gauntlet, here's what I'm gonna do. You just saw Thanos, and it's like, oh man, that's a guy. That's like, gonna be a thing, you know?
Yeah, well, but it was also like,
this is a little bit too obvious, I feel, for the second movie in the franchise.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And I don't know, we're judging it against the MCU, which isn't necessarily fair.
Well, it's just because it feels like they judge themselves against the MCU.
And that's why they do everything that they do.
Yeah, like, it almost feels like that, because they go, hey, we're doing Civil War, then they go, we have
need
Superman.
2 of our good guys to fight each other.
Let's have these guys fight. And then they're like, oh, well, Infinity War and Endgame are coming out, and they're like, Justice League?
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah. Well, I guess we'll back to the first thing is just that the other thing I saw with that is that they had talked to Michael B. Jordan and apparently also J.J. Abrams. And so if those two went together for a Superman movie, I think that would be very interesting.
Yeah. Well,
but
it remains to be seen with the rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that's true.
If J.J. Abrams' reputation is to be saved.
Yeah. We'll have to see.
But, like, traditionally, like, especially with The Force Awakens, he's a fan pleaser. Mm-hmm. Like, to a certain extent, you know, like, certain people's qualms with The Force Awakens is that it's kind of just the same story told over again, and, like, I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but I definitely understand why people would be like, wow, nothing new here, thanks, JJ. But he needed to bring people back to Star Wars, and so he used a kind of basic story.
He
used a template that worked well, then building these new characters and these new storylines, you know, moving forward. And that was the part that I was excited about, was the moving forward. Then Rian Johnson took a crap on it, but like, I from what it seems, he loves the community that comes with his movies. Like, he makes ARGs for his movies that are like there's a Super 8 one, there's a Cloverfield one, you know, and they're maybe connected, you know, and so he loves the fandom that comes with the movies that he makes. So I know that he'd really try to do it justice.
Yeah, and so kind of to finish off this topic, it looked like Michael B. Jordan probably wouldn't do it after they had the meeting, because Warner Brothers was like, yeah, we'd love to have you, and since we've got you in a contract from the Creed movies, you could do one of your movies over here and be Superman, but we probably won't do it till like 2023. What? 2023. Why would I do that? Like, it's just like it was just too far in the future for him to commit to it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So he was just kind of like,
you never know what's gonna come.
Exactly.
He's popular right now after everything is done. So
And
and
so
the DC universe isn't that popular right
yeah,
now. So
exactly.
to
And
commit
so,
to something like that could be good but could be terrible,
mhm.
Yeah.
that's so far in the future. It's kinda
Yeah, I
possible.
think if it was like a more relevant, like, we're gonna do this for like in next year, he'd probably do it.
Mhm.
But I think since they're like, well, do you want to maybe be Superman in 5 years?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me check that camera. I'm talking to the wide. My camera bunked out. Yeah. I'm indifferent to
Yeah.
Superman at this point, and like, I like Michael B. Jordan, but I'm just so burnt out on Superman. Like, there's never been
From his
there's-
two
there's-
movies
yeah.
that he's been in the past 5 years.
Yeah, well, like, but like, Dad showed me like whatever the intermediary Superman movie was from the old ones, and now these new ones. It's like Superman Forever or something.
They just
Superman
they always
Forever.
Just add the same words. All right, you
Batman
can choose
Forever.
from
Batman
Forever,
Begins.
Returns,
Begins
and Begins.
or Origins.
What
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I don't remember what it was, and I could be wrong. I don't remember what it was
How
called.
about Superman Begins Forever?
Superman's origins will begin forever. Yeah. And I
then
just,
he'll return.
it's never been interesting to me because it's always like, all right, so nobody should be able to beat him. And it's like, oh, if they have a green rock stuff, they'll beat him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just how it goes.
Mhm.
Like, it's either he wins or Green Rock wins, or he beats the Green Rock
Superman,
somehow.
Green Paper Rock.
Good try. But yeah, I
don't like when they kill superheroes. I always just
That's
have
fair.
a beef whenever a superhero dies.
You want to keep hope alive.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just don't like it because it's a superhero. They're not
Yeah.
supposed to die, and in my brain, I want everything to be perfect. Especially when it's like a superhero that's like been my favorite. When they die, I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
it's so sad.
I get that.
And it's like in my brain, it's like a superhero can't die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So every time they kill superheroes, I'm just like, ugh.
Well, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
I thought you were super.
Yeah.
I had this. Okay, this is changing the subject a little bit, but when we were talking about how the Flash can only punch people, it reminded me of this dream I had. So in my dream, it was like me and a couple of my friends, and they all got superpowers, and their superpowers were like super cool, like they had like lasers or whatever, and then they'd had to like fight these bad guys, and they were all like like lasering the bad guys or using their super strength, and then my superpower was like I could like make like paintballs or like some kind of little rock in my hand. I could throw it at people, but then my aim was super bad because I was just throwing it, so I'd always miss, and it was just like this little rock, so that they get hit with it and they'd be like what the heck, what's going on? So I was like in this dream I was like I was so sad because I couldn't fight anyone. And my power was just to make a little rock and throw it at someone.
And you couldn't hit
But I
them
couldn't
ever.
even hit them anyway. So I was like, what the heck is this dream?
That's the best.
That's awesome.
That's the best superpower.
Yeah. And it's like...
Damn it.
I like to imagine it makes the little.
Yeah, when it appears in the hand.
And
Yeah.
like... Because if I became the Flash too, it's like... I could run super fast, but if I ever got in a fight, I'd get my butt kicked because I don't know how to fight. I could just run super fast.
Just
That's
run
it.
into people.
Yeah. Just run away. Oh. Run around the entire world and hit them on the back of the head.
Yeah. But like, what if you became a superhero and then your superpower is just bad?
Just the worst.
Yeah. That would be pretty bad, but even if it was creating rocks with your hand, like I if that was like, I would be upset that it wasn't something better, but honestly, I'd just be like constantly
Yeah.
just making them all the time, or
Yeah.
just building things with my rocks. And people were like, where are they coming from? I'd become a famous magician, and my one trick is
there a rock
is there
in your
a rock
nose?
in my head? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, exactly. It's the rock in your nose, guy. How do you do it, sir? Well, it's my superpower. What? Yeah,
the only thing I can do is create tiny rocks. And so it's really convenient that I chose the profession of magician, because I can just, that's the only thing I can do is make little rocks.
So funny.
That'd be funny if every magician just
Was
has
just
the
the worst
superpower
one.
of like making things appear. Like,
Mhm.
and then that's
The
the
one guy gets
explanation.
really lucky and it's cards.
Yeah. Is this your card?
And then he teams up with the guy that can make rabbits.
Yeah.
And they're just the ultimate duo.
Yeah. There's this secret guild of magicians where they're all
That's
just
just
super
real
lame.
magic.
They're just super lame superheroes. All failed superheroes just become magicians. That's a fun idea.
Yeah.
It's trademarked. You can't take it.
The one person watching.
Oh yeah.
The
J.J.
one
Abrams tuned in. He
the
heard
one
his
guy
name. He's like, huh?
watching.
He poked his head in. He's like, that's a good idea. I'll see you in court.
The Sony execs send like one intern to be like scour the internet.
Yeah.
And find the greatest ideas.
Find any ideas. We'll turn it into a Spider-Man movie. We need to keep Spider-Man. He's all we have.
Yeah.
I want more Harry Potter. That's what I want.
Do
We were
you,
talking
though?
about that too. Like,
Remember when we talked about the crimes of Grindelwald and
Yeah.
all its convoluted
I don't
nonsense?
want them. I want
You want Harold
I want-
Porter.
Harold Porter.
you want Harry Potter and the Cursed Child of anti-kissing?
Anti-kissing.
Yeah, you remember that whole part when the kid was like making out with Hermione?
No.
When he was
hell?
polyjuiced as Ron, and she's like, "Oh hi, honey," and he's like, "Hello," and she like kissed him, and people had a big fit over it.
Oh my goodness.
I don't
At the
remember
time of
that.
reading it, I was just kind of like, "Oh, that's kind of weird," but I didn't really think anything of it. But then apparently there's a big stink where people are like, "This is disgusting."
Incest.
Well, I mean, reading it, I was just like, "Oh, they just like a little smooch."
Yeah.
But, like people were just like blowing it out of proportion.
Yeah.
They're like,
Well,
"This is the worst thing ever."
Well, that
I'm like, that's kind of creepy.
it is
If
kind of
anything,
creepy,
if
but
anything, it's creepy. But
like sometimes your auntie comes and kisses you on the lips.
yeah, but
like,
she doesn't kiss you thinking you're her husband. That's
yeah,
probably a
okay,
bit
that's
different.
true.
Carries-
That is what makes it
Carries more
different.
oomph.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know.
Because you had the idea. I'm pretty sure it was your idea, and then I just tell everyone it's my idea. But
So this is Owen's idea
yeah,
for anyone watching.
Yeah, where they just follow like the Marauders.
Right.
Because that was
That
your
was
idea.
my idea.
Uh-oh.
No, but actually, that was my idea.
Uh-oh. Well, it was someone's idea at this table. At some point, we all said it was our idea, but
You might have mentioned it when you told me. But okay, you tell about it since it was.
No, I don't know.
decided
What
for
I
you.
was just saying, I think because they announced a bajillion Harry Potter movies, they're like, we're going to do 100 Fantastic Beasts, and I was just like, chill.
diversify.
Yeah.
You can do, and so when they on the second Fantastic Beasts, they opened it with that Wizarding World, and so I was like, nice. That's what you need to do.
Expanded universe,
Expanded
baby.
universe. We'll get a Dumbledore movie. Explore all that stuff. We'll do some Marauders stuff. And so then I was like, that would be interesting. I know there's anyone who's thought about wanting a Marauders stuff. A lot of people want it to be a series, which
I think
I'm
that would be
okay
good.
with that. Like that's fine.
Something
Or
new.
you know, instead of them trying to jam everything into a movie like Solo, where they're like, everything they ever did happened in this movie.
Everything that ever happened to Han Solo happened within the span of 3 days,
Yeah,
and it's like,
exactly.
leave something to the imagination, people. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
And so I think a series would probably be ideal for
Yeah.
that, you know? Where it's just like, oh, well, they're doing this. Year 1, oh, we're friends. Year 2, whoa, this guy's a werewolf.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
now we're all animals to be with our werewolf friend.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Snape, you know?
Yeah.
Just like,
oh, there's Snivelis.
it can be like
little
they
Snivelis.
should do it like Recess,
Yeah.
where Snape is that stupid kid with the thing, and he's always like
Yeah.
trying to tell on them.
Yeah, and I almost feel like it would be cool to do it as a series because you get more of a feel for the years at Hogwarts. Like,
which is what I want.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Kind of more of like a grounded like school years where these guys are just getting into trouble and like going on crazy adventures, and
it could just be like lighthearted too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It doesn't have to be this...
Nothing that has to do with Voldemort or the end of the world. Maybe just building into that at the very end of the series as they catch up into, you know, when all of Lupin's friends are dead or arrested. You know, like...
Oh, yeah, well, that's actually... would be interesting.
Or
like, maybe
rat.
start...
Yeah, a rat dead
maybe,
or arrested.
Honestly, start, like, part way into the school. You know? Or just, like, jam some of the years together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know? Where it's just like, oh, well, nothing happened.
These are adventures from years 5 to 7. You know, like,
exactly. Because then a lot of the interesting stuff happened afterward.
Aberforth.
Put him in there.
The Goat Man.
And so
Mr. Goat Man. Back at it again.
And so, like, because, yeah, there's all the interesting stuff, and it can just end with Lupin sitting there, like...
alone. Like, all my friends are gone. Poor Lupin, man.
And
like,
it could be an interesting
why'd you have
thing.
to kill
And then you just watch that, and then you
and his wife.
see Prisoner of Azkaban, and you're like, oh, man, I know what's going on now.
Yeah.
You know?
And that was always that's one of the things that is really, really cool about The Prisoner of Azkaban, and why it's kind of like one of my favorites is that it starts to delve into the fact that there's more things in this universe than Harry Potter and his adventures, you know, because
that's true.
It really kind of delves out, like, it explores what his parents like were like, especially kind of what his dad was doing, and all these other people. And
Your dad sucked, Harry. No, he didn't. You didn't even know him. Yes, I did.
But yeah, that's one of the most interesting parts I've always thought about Harry Potter was just the entire betrayal situation with Wormtail and Sirius, and how Sirius had him cornered because he knew he did it. Sirius found him and was like, you're gonna pay for this, buddy. And then he blew himself up, killed a bunch of muggles, like they were in a train station or something. Like, I would love to see that Sirius is chasing him down, he has him cornered, Wormtail just turns around, Defendos his finger off, and Sirius goes, no! And then, boom, explosion, he's gone. The Obliviate law enforcement come and are, like, helping people and taking him, and he's like, no! And like what they described was that when they took him away, he was just laughing because he was just so distraught because his friend just exploded and framed him and killed his other friend, and he was like,
and he didn't even because Barty Crouch was like the person then, and he was just arresting people without giving them trial because like he didn't even get a trial.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I would definitely go crazy if that happened to me.
You can explore, like, I would say go, like, up to then. And then maybe see, like, what people's reactions are. And then the series should be done.
I feel like I would kind of like that the series finale is that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then the end is Lupin just kind of being like, maybe he talks with Dumbledore or something. Like, he visits Dumbledore, and
honestly,
Dumbledore
just
goes...
almost, like, have him, like, look at a picture of, like, all of them together, and then just
the
kind of
end,
hit a wide of him just alone.
Yeah,
looking
and, like,
at it.
what an ending, though. You know, like, it's not happy, but you know that that's how the story has to end. And so don't try and end it another way.
Well, and see, that's the thing, is that's what I feel like they've gone into this giant weird thing with Fantastic Beasts, where they're like, everyone's here.
Yeah,
you know.
You remember that snake, Nagini? She's a girl, and she's in this too. And here's another guy you didn't know. His name's Yusuf. And
also, this guy, you see this child? That's Dumbledore's brother. Is it possible? Nope. But that's a problem for another day. We're not talking about it on the podcast this week.
Because that'll take forever.
Yeah, but like, yeah, just give us a contained story. That's just like, here's a beginning, here's an end. We knew what was going to happen the whole time because we made the story. We know, everyone knows how the story goes. It has to end.
Yeah, and
so
the only Voldemort I want there to be is after they graduate, everyone's kind of like living it high, and then Peter Pettigrew kind of like, it's hinted at that he's moving towards darker things now.
Well, just like, don't even say it with him. He's just kind of weird and skeevy. And then the only mention of Voldemort I want is when the Potters die.
Yeah, it's when Potter goes, hey, you Voldemort, did you hear me? Did you hear me? I hate you. I hate you. Fight me. and my infant son. Like, they
That'd
were...
be so funny to reveal that it just happened completely different. James just
Well-
totally calls him out.
no, he that's kind of what it was, is that
But it
the
wasn't 'cause
Potters were
Voldemort-
known, like, essentially, they were known...
Hooligans.
Well, not known hooligans, but they were known, like, to speak out against Voldemort, and they fought in the first war against
Oh yeah, they were in the
Voldemort.
order.
They were in the Order. And
But,
so,
but
like,
he, but
and
that's
they were
not why he
dangerous.
went
Like,
after
they were
them.
powerful
That's
wizards.
not why he went after them, though.
That's true.
Like, I'm sure they like maybe knew about each other, but like he went after them because of the kid.
But they were that's why they were in hiding.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like, because they were like, screw you, Voldemort! I'm not scared of you!
I'm gonna kill your kid. Oh my God, Dumbledore, please help me.
Dumbledore! Dumbledore tugging on his little sleeve.
He took it too far.
What is it, Lily? James threatened the evil Hitler wizard, and now we have a kid, and so he can't be pulling that stuff anymore, can he, James? Sorry, Lily. Yeah, but like that seems like it'd be such a good story to tell, because like just it like you can explore the stuff we know and want you to explore.
Yeah.
Explore the stuff, a little bit of new stuff, you know. J.K. Rowling, you know, like, that's kind of where you went wrong with the Fantastic Beasts stuff and tying it into Dumbledore, is show us, like, you've already written something really good for Dumbledore's backstory. So why are you complicating it with all this stuff, you know? Like,
with the Fantastic Beasts is just, don't do all this crazy stuff that you're just making
everyone
up.
already loves what you did.
We
Just
know
show
what
us
happens.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what happens. You got Newt. That's cool. That's as much new as you need.
But use that. That's the thing. That's where things went wrong with Grindelwald. Is that, and I this is all I'm going to say about it, and then we'll stop complaining about that movie. Is that I like Newt as a character, and I like what they started with him in the first Fantastic Beasts movie. But then in this one, where they're now tying it into Dumbledore's story for some reason, even though that doesn't conclude until 1946, which is like 20 years down the line, Newt's going to be like 60 years old, and like, don't quote me on that, I'm not good at math, and I don't know exactly how old he is in this.
Approximately.
Yeah, like he's going to be like 50, he's going to be pretty old, and it's like, I like Newt's story, do Fantastic Beasts, then do Dumbledore. They don't have to be the same thing. Like, Grindelwald could have been in that Fantastic Beasts, and that's it.
Just been it.
That's it. Grindelwald was causing mischief. Now he's gonna go, and it's gonna be Dumbledore's problem.
Yeah,
you
new
know?
adventure in the next
New
one.
adventure with beasts and no Grindelwalds.
Because
Like,
he had the whole thing.
Why
of
is that
dealing-
Newt's problem?
Well, it was also like, oh, hey, remember all that interesting stuff we set up with America? There's American wizards. Think about that.
Let's go back
Let's
to
go
Europe.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
it's just like,
Because she just had written all about Ilvermorny
Yes.
and the American school,
And
and,
so
I
it's
thought
like,
for sure they were gonna.
oh, well,
move
it
into
makes
that.
sense because Newt's got to go back and meet his girlfriend, and then because we know that they get together, and so then we can explore the American wizard system.
But then they gotta make a whole new castle.
But then
and
they just,
it's a lot of work. But I kind of liked when they went back to Hogwarts.
Yeah.
and like
That's
you
nice.
can go back to Hogwarts. Like there's lots of stuff you can do with that. They did in the flashbacks. That works. You can see Dumbledore hanging out there, you know, but you just like don't have to be like, you know what people love, Hogwarts. You know, like
Yeah, I'm just desperate for more Harry Potter.
Yeah. That's understandable. Yeah, just unlock it. Whoops.
Nope.
Oh my.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh no, we're good.
Oh,
We're good.
oh,
We're
oh.
good. Stop.
Yep.
Oh.
We're at like 48.
We could go for a couple more minutes.
Go for a couple more minutes. But yeah, it's kind of come to a natural-ish
Yeah, that's
stopping
true.
point. If anyone has anything else
yeah, we,
want to add on to DC or Harry Potter,
yeah, I
you
don't
know,
know
somehow
about those. Yeah.
we built into that.
Mostly not the things that I originally had planned. Either.
Yeah, but that's good. It was a natural
Yeah.
flow of conversation, and so that's what we're always after. And yeah, I guess we could just talk a little bit more about kind of our desires for the Harry Potter universe. Like, we'll do a Grindelwald expose at some point.
When they announce the next one,
We'll do a Grindelwald.
Okay, well, here
expose.
that's they were I saw a thing talking about back to here's our gap bridger. is Ezra Miller.
Oh, that guy.
They can't do their Flash movie until he's done filming the next Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, so that is something. That's
So apparently that movie is happening,
I haven't heard anything.
but
Which
how
one is
or
he?
when, who knows?
He's
the Flash.
Credence
The secret
slash
baby
Dumbledore
Oh.
slash Corvus
Mm-hmm.
slash maybe someone else.
Just don't.
I'm
Here's
sorry.
something that we could finish with is there's a Harry Potter game that's been rumored
Oh,
called
is it the mobile game?
no,
The
there's
Pokemon Go.
like an actual one,
Oh,
like an RPG. That's
I feel
been
like I may
rumored.
have heard of that, but
But-
not much more than other than
there's
a Harry Potter
Yeah.
RPG rumored.
there's a Harry Potter RPG on mobile
Don't you
that
do
I'm
this.
horribly addicted to, and I hate it.
Like
It's
the
an awful
Pokemon
game.
Go one?
No.
No, it's a
Oh,
different
the-
one. It's
Yeah,
the
I
one
know
where you
which
tap
one
and
you're
click on
talking
things.
about.
I hate that game, but I can't stop playing it. Do not buy this game.
You bought it?
I do not download this game. It's not worth money. It's not worth nothing. Do not get it. It'll destroy your life. I hate it. No sponsorships. Don't get this game.
You
It's
would
toxic.
take the sponsorship though. You played it like the most. You're probably their
I would
number
take
one
the money.
player.
Hey, want to sponsor me? Screw you. You
Whoa.
stole my life. If you want to sponsor me, then I'll promote the game, but it'll be promptly followed by, in my personal opinion, it's toxic. I play it. I do. I can't stop playing it. So you shouldn't start. But download now for free.
Yeah, got me. I'm hooked.
I think I might be handling any sort of sponsorship and ad deals from this point forward. Don't talk to him about it. If ever anyone wants to talk to us about that sort of thing, I will handle business on that front, I think.
Anyways.
Yeah, so this game is like there's some videos that were leaked or whatever.
Oh, was
But
he
it's
like kind of just running around? He's like,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think- oh, and he's kind of whipping it around and he's blocking stuff.
Yeah, and he's like,
I did see that. I did see that.
yeah, it was like
Whipping it
that.
around, eh?
Hey man, it's Harry Potter.
He's
in a
whipping his
nutshell.
wand around and there's stuff flying everywhere.
That's Harry Potter in a nutshell.
But it, like, I think that game would steal my life away.
Yeah.
I would love that
Well, it's
so
kind
much.
of that Jedi Fallen Order thing where like people are finally realizing that people will buy games. Like they're like, this is a successful thing. Maybe we should actually make a good game.
Yeah, like,
a good
uh-huh.
game about
You know,
that.
instead of just like going, well, we'll take the mechanics from this game and throw them on here, make it look like that guy.
Mm.
You got a game,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
and
but
just
you
like
can't-
making a game and calling it the same name as the movie, or
Yeah.
just like
You can't, because there was a Harry Potter game I used to play that was like Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah, I
And
think
it
we
was
have it.
it was like the game. Like it was like,
Yeah.
or the movie. Like you played the movie.
Yeah,
yeah,
you
exactly.
played
I
the-
think we
like
have
that.
Goblet of Fire.
That
Yeah.
doesn't work. Like,
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
But if you like make a game,
because everyone
From-
wants to be at Hogwarts.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You know?
and they have like on like Pottermore, they have everything there, like all the schematics of like Hogwarts and everything. Like
Mhm.
so, if they just take that and like make a Hogwarts
Yeah.
that you can run around in and like
Yeah.
go to class and
Yeah.
level up your stuff.
Well, and see, the problem is that the game people will be like, but we need some sort of evil. You know,
Yeah.
they won't just say, "Here's your thing."
It's
You
Grindelwald.
can- They won't just be like, "You can have your school rival, and that's all you need."
Mhm.
Like, you can have your Malfoy guy, and you get in fights with him in the hallway.
Just punch him in the nose.
You know, and like if you can't do that, just make like, I don't know, make him be an Auror. As cool as it would be to run around Hogwarts,
Mhm.
I feel like that'll probably be more the style they go, where it's like now you're fighting Death Eaters,
I do like Aurors.
you know,
You
and
could
so like
make it
maybe
the
you can
first
have
Wizarding War.
maybe you can have
Against
a
the
level or
goblins.
two at Hogwarts.
The goblins.
The
The Goblin
War.
Rebellion. But yeah, my other pitch, my other idea of a cool potential kind of property, which is what would be a cool, make an even better game, is more of a gritty, like
Oh.
you play as an Auror, and it's more of a gritty, like the dark side, like of the crime universe of Harry Potter. You know, where like the idea that I have is hey, don't take this. This is trademarked. It's not, so you can steal it, but it's documented that I came up with it. Is the idea of the guy who goes as the forgivable killer, where he doesn't use any of the 3 unforgivable curses, but he just kills people using other spells. So he like goes Confringo and they explode, or he goes Defindo and cuts their head off.
You have to
know?
like stupefy them 17
And so
times.
like he in his twisted mind, he's like, the laws should be changed. My mother was just blown up by some guy, and the attorney was unable to like get him into Azkaban or whatever. So he decides to prove that the justice system is flawed by saying like there needs to be restrictions on each of these laws on each of these spells as well, or whatever, because like you cast Defindo on someone's head, it's gonna fall off. Like that's the severing charm is what it's called. And like when I looked it up, because I was like, there's got to be some restrictions on this severing charm, but it was like it was invented by someone so that they could cut cloth when they were making dresses. And I was like, holy crap. Yeah. Bombarda! You know?
You just
And you're-
Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah. And
Whoops!
Yeah. Wingardium
still going.
Leviosa.
He's still going.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Wingardium Leviosa, someone into the sky.
Well,
but
you
you're-
see it in like the which movie is it? It's in like the first movie when Harry's flying around playing Quidditch, and then Snape and Quirrell are just like ripping him off his
Yeah.
and it's like that thing wasn't even using one. He's just sitting there muttering.
Yeah, and Snape is using all his strength to keep him alive.
Yeah. Like if you could just rip people off their brooms by uttering tongues, like the only reason he was alive is because Hermione lit him on fire.
Yeah.
Like
Not even the right guy.
Yeah.
She lit the guy who was saving his life.
My
on
God,
fire.
man, you're on fire.
Yeah, exactly. I like how they just immediately assumed that Snape was evil because he wears black and he's kind of mean.
He's got greasy hair.
He assumed he was trying to murder a student.
What was
But
the
anyway,
first thing? Sorry.
I don't know.
Everyone started talking at once.
Just say
Or you
reasonably,
said going?
he's a Death Eater. We find
It's
hilarious.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was the
but-
first thing that he did to make them like start not?
He was
liking him?
mean to
He was
Harry
mean to
in
Harry in
class.
potions class.
That's
And then
what it was?
then he had a
Because
bite on
Harry
his
was
leg.
taking notes.
He
Oh,
got
yeah.
a bite on his leg from Fluffy or whatever. Yeah, he yelled at Harry for taking notes in class.
Well, I mean, they are like how old are they? 11.
Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of makes sense if you think of it from an 11-year-old standpoint.
Yeah.
If you're
that
like-
is the
yeah.
perspective you would take.
You-
Anyway.
This
Well,
guy
why
is
did she
mad
get
at me.
bit?
Yeah, why did he get bit?
I don't know, man. I think
Because
that
he's like, I was trying to stop him. Then why did you get bit?
yeah, maybe he was trying to
Also,
test the defenses,
If
and
you
he
got
decided
bit,
to use
no,
his own leg.
No, because his excuse was that he was trying to stop the guy. I'm pretty sure. Because he made the distraction and everyone like ran to the thing except
Right.
Snape went to go and stop him.
Okay, so what happened was that Snape immediately went there
Yeah.
when the troll was in, and like he just like probably ran in, beat Quirrell there, and immediately got mauled by the dog.
Okay, but also now,
and then
how
and
is
then
a
Quirrell
tiny-
walks in, sees Snape getting batted around by a 3-headed dog, and is like, I'll come back later.
Well, like, but then also, it just, I don't know, I'm thinking about that whole situation.
And
a
like,
lot
how
more.
did Snape not get fired after that?
Well, he didn't, because
By
Dumbledore
Voldemort.
trusted him by everything.
I know, but Voldemort was in Quirrell the whole time. So how was he not like, Snape, you've been screwing
He
me
couldn't
this
see,
whole
because
time, man.
only Quirrell could see.
But he
Because
could
Dumbledore's
hear.
like, what's going on? Well, he didn't hear. He just heard, oh!
What's happening? Turn around, you idiots!
I think it's Snape! Oh, he's come to help us.
He's come to help us, but he's been ensnared by the dog. Flee for now, my vessel.
I also
Flee.
love that both Voldemort and Dumbledore are just idiots who just always think Snape is on their team. They're just like, Snape would never betray me. It's like, what are you doing, man? Oh, but also, his little bite. He only had like a tiny bite because it was enough that he just like rolled up his sock. Remember?
Yeah.
What dog bit you? It wasn't the giant one in that room.
You wouldn't have a leg.
It was like a Labrador. It just came over and nibbled your ankle.
It was Fang.
Maybe, yeah, Fang was in there also. Happened to be, get off me, you fool.
Well, was that before or after the kids went and saw the dog?
I think that was after, because Harry immediately went, he got bit by Fluffy.
So maybe he didn't.
Well, maybe...
Did they ever confirm
maybe
that?
The
Maybe
only
he just
thing,
got bit
maybe
somewhere
the only
else.
thing he was able to do was diminuendo. He like turned him tiny or whatever, and then
His
Fluffy
ankles.
bit him. Or maybe his leg did come off, and that's all the healing he could do in a short amount of time.
Oh yeah, I guess
'Cause,
they
like,
could heal stuff.
He should have just done his like whatever the thing he
Yeah.
did to heal Malfoy when his guts were falling out in the bathroom. Yeah, exactly.
Imagine how-
Shotgun of glass.
Yeah. Oh, what a
How do
great
you-
spell.
How do you invent a spell?
Okay, that's another thing. We should
Yeah.
save that though.
Yeah,
Because
that's
Kieran
definitely.
and I,
I
like,
thought of something
yeah,
crazy.
Well, what are we at?
About an hour, I think.
Okay, let's go for it.
No.
'Cause
We
might not.
We want this one to be a bit shorter.
Okay.
We'll because
Alright.
Harry Potter's one that we've got never-ending
Yeah.
topics.
All right,
about.
we'll come back to that because we have some ideas of how like
Spells don't
spells
make any
don't
sense.
saying spells doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And how like
wanna just
essentially
leave it?
no get it and how essentially it's just like a wand. It's
Uh-huh.
just kind of a learning tool
Yeah.
to help you channel your thoughts into the thing, but even that doesn't really
None of it really.
check
makes-
out.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's kind of all broken. But then you say it's magic, but then your magic should be consistent.
Mhm.
But yeah.
It's magic. Come on.
Yeah.
It's magic.
Does the the movement of the wand, is that
I think again that's
maybe
just
who knows?
maybe.
because sometimes they're like stupefy, sometimes they're just
Well, because
Yeah,
think about
stupefy.
think about the last few movies. Harry's just always going like this.
yeah, exactly.
And usually it is just stupefy, but most of the time he's like Ricta Sempra or whatever. What's his move? Expelliarmus. Yeah. And then when he Septum Sempra's Malfoy, he's just kind of like oh. And so it seems like this is the most powerful.
I wonder
move.
what will happen.
Yeah.
Sempra.
For enemies. Harry.
And friend.
Enemy.
Enemy.
It'd be funny if he just did it. He sees it in the mirror and he just and it's just like ricocheting all over.
Well, I think that in the
book, it
was
clipped him.
No, in the books the spells were ricocheting.
Well, yeah,
everywhere, I
yeah.
think.
Spells do bounce around, and we know that from the Dumbledore stuff. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why Malfoy didn't die. It's just because it clipped him, kind of. But he was still like dying.
But you can heal almost everything in the
Yeah,
in the
especially
magical
since
world.
like kind of how it works is that there's a curse and a counter curse
Unless
for all
you
spells,
die.
and so it was good that Snape found him because Snape was the only one who knows the counter curse to Sectum Sempra.
Man, Half-Blood Prince is like so good.
It's one of my
It's my
favorites. Like
favorite,
the some people think it's like boring and the one where nothing happens, but I love
I
it.
love it. It's
It's
like
one of the
funny
best.
too.
Yeah, it's so
It's
funny.
and-
Literally, the best two are the ones where there's like no Voldemort stuff.
Yeah.
Like
That's
he's
true.
not in that one, is he? Not
He-
like fully.
he's around.
He's kind of around, but not so much. But he's
Yeah.
not in Azkaban.
Azkaban
and Azkaban is
and
the best
Half-Blood
one,
Prince are
I
really
think.
good.
And then Half-Blood Prince is like
Yeah.
very close second.
I really like, for me it's Goblet of Fire, then
Really?
Half-Blood Prince, then
Because I have
Azkaban.
campaigned that Goblet of Fire is the worst
Really?
one. Yeah.
I think I have like, because when I was little is when I would first watch it, and my mom's favorite was Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
So then I would always just watch
That's
that
fair.
one, and it just
Yeah.
manifested.
And see, like
into my
as
favorite one.
I watched them again not too long ago, and like when I watched Goblet of Fire again, I was like, why did I mean, it's fine.
Well,
you
that's
know?
the thing is
But
that
then the
it's
thing-
trying to pick the worst
Yeah.
of
Mhm.
7 great
And I-
movies.
I
But
keep
also the
thinking
book
it's
is a lot better than the movie.
Yeah.
Like the movie
yeah,
Goblet
the
of
movie
Fire
kind of it snips
is
a lot
bad.
of things.
Mhm.
Well, and like because it is interesting because there's all the Mad Eye stuff, and Mad Eye's awesome.
I love
Mhm.
Mad
But
Eye.
like,
He could be your mentor in The Forgivable Killer. That's how he loses his leg.
but yeah, you know, it's like
yeah,
I think
it's
just
funny in the
comparatively-
books when Harry does Sectum Sempra on Snape. Snape was, of course, just lurking around the corner because he was...
Because
he had to be watching
in the
Draco
movie,
the entire time.
In the
but
movie,
what happens?
him and McGonagall were just kind of
Yeah, but
rushing,
they
they're
rush
probably
in
like,
because they're people are fighting. You just hear like glass shattering. But
Maybe we should check
Snape
that one
was
out.
just kind of lurking because he always is like trailing Malfoy in that book. But he comes in and like looks at Malfoy and then kind of like looks at Harry.
Well, he
and
does
like,
that in the movie.
Hey, maybe I misjudged you, man. Like
Oh,
he was
did
kind of
it?
he was kind of proud of him. Like he's like, you're impressive. Like he was like, and I always thought it was like, man, geez, Snape, you're a jerk, man.
That's
like,
funny.
Like because
in the movie, it's a bit more of like a
like
I know this.
I didn't.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, what are you capable of?
Yeah,
You
why do
little
you know
monster.
this?
But
Yeah.
it was in the books. It was kind of Snape being like,
Hey.
I'm impressed. You know, like,
in the movie, it's
most
yeah.
impressive.
In the movie, he gives him like he's at his body and he like gives him like the death stare. He's like it like all clicks for him.
You could have killed me. There's an unbreakable vow going on
Are
here,
you
man.
freaking kidding me,
man?
You don't even know what you could have done.
Yeah. He doesn't care about Malfoy. He's like, I mean, you could have killed me. What?
That'd be an
What does that
interesting thing,
mean?
Actually, I wonder if that was more,
That was why.
That was more of his
That was the
motivation
only
there.
reason
Yeah.
he was following Draco
Yeah.
around was because if anything happened, he
dead.
would die.
Yeah, and see,
You've
I
just-
think. Or you
No,
go.
no, you go.
I'm gonna switch it a
I
bit.
was gonna say something stupid.
No, say it.
I was gonna say, like if he was on the Snape was on the toilet, then this guy just
He
takes
just,
a
he
poop.
just dies.
He's like, what is going on? This is a big poop. Oh.
That's so good. He just like, yeah, he could have
Yeah,
been
he
doing
just collapses.
anything, and he just, it's like, oh crap, where's Draco? And he's just dead. His like arm starts to glow.
Anytime Snape can't see Draco and or Harry, he's like,
He's just like trying to sleep at night. He's like, what could they be doing to each other?
But what I was gonna say is that like kind of back to what we were saying about like the Hogwarts thing and how it would be kind of boring without any sort of evil is that because McGonagall does say like literally anytime anything happens it's always you three, and so it's kind of something that I've always thought about is just like there's a bunch of other students for 7 years
Yeah.
that just went to school. And these guys are just running around causing chaos
Yeah.
and just doing all this crap. And it's like, that's not, like, and everyone's always like, oh, I love Harry Potter and I want to go to Hogwarts. But then when you think about it, it's like, yeah, it's cool. You get to do all this magic and stuff. But what you know isn't the Hogwarts experience.
Yeah.
That is a very, like, that is
Everyone's like
Yeah.
depressed
the
and
most
cramming for
exception
finals.
of exceptions.
Yeah.
You know?
And their finals are hardcore too.
Yeah, exactly.
If you fail,
when Dumbledore doesn't cancel them every year.
Yeah.
Finals are cancelled.
But only for Gryffindor. Also 1,000,000 points from Slytherin, just because.
Also, if you're in your 7th year, you have to come back next year because you didn't write your finals.
Yeah, like Harry's second year. Do they ever address
Well,
that?
no.
That the 7th years of that year who would have been graduating just didn't have to write their final exams, their newts.
they're newts.
Like, So they just like do they he either like set them up for life or screwed them over because now
Yeah.
they don't have the credentials that they need
Yeah.
to go into the profession. It's like
he would just
there's
just pass them all. He goes,
yeah.
Oh, yep.
Whatever.
Yep. Outstanding.
I imagine Dumbledore's just in his office. He's like,
flicking his
This
wand
is the
around.
worst.
Yeah.
Outstanding, everyone.
everyone
Oh.
passes.
Just
I'm
trying
going to
find
Honeydukes.
Horcruxes.
Yeah. McGonagall comes in.
Professor.
You gave Malfoy an outstanding. Who? Malfoy?
Draco Malfoy.
What?
I've never heard that name in my life. Sherbet lemons for everyone.
I'm sure he did outstanding. You gave Draco an
Gave
outstanding
Neville
in social.
Longbottom. Yeah.
And Neville the Bravery Award.
Yeah.
But he was very brave. He stood up to Harry. And as we all know, he's a scary little kid.
Like,
He yelled at me in my office once. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Man, reading, because I didn't read the books for the longest time, and then after
Same.
watching all the movies and then reading the books, you're like, man, Harry is like actually kind of a dick.
I
Yeah,
know.
he's a dick.
When I
He's
read
just
the
the
books,
worst.
when I read the
He's
books, I was
angry.
like, man, I hate Harry
Yeah.
so much. Like, he's not a good person.
No.
He only does things for himself
And he
until
gets-
the end. Like, it's honestly, it's uncharacteristic of him to have been like, well, I guess I'll sacrifice myself. Like, I'm surprised he didn't just go, well,
That's why
peace
it was
out, guys.
that's why it was such a big deal, because he's like, oh man, I gotta
Yeah.
do this. What was the one? There's like a really big example that you were just telling me, where it's like the only reason he did this. Oh no, it was what was it?
I don't remember.
I almost had it. You guys can keep talking. I'll
thinking.
think of it.
Yeah, I don't know. He's so just like, at any moment he just thinks that his
Oh,
way is the right way.
With Stan Shunpike. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
I believe that he is good.
Yeah,
No
and
matter
so-
what.
Yeah,
And then he's
Yeah.
a Death Eater, and it's like, good job, Harry. That guy
you
really should have
you
been
really
free from
showed him.
Azkaban.
Yeah, and so what happened to set up the scenario? Rufus Scrimgeour was really kind of ruling with an iron fist, and it was kind of like, yeah, this might be inconvenient for the everyman, but like, let's be honest here. This is what people need right now. Is like an authoritative sort of government that's going to be like, hey, we're not taking no for an answer. Where the ministry stands strong. Like, I would see his mouth. He's like, and those who seek to take it from you. But anyways, that'll be great for audio listeners.
Yeah. And then he just did it again.
But anyways, like, Harry was just this entire time didn't want to cooperate with Scrimgeour. And like, I feel like I'm misinterpreting what they were trying to go for, because Dumbledore was also kind of like being kind of aloof and like avoiding Scrimgeour as well. But like when he approached Harry, he's like, Harry, I want you to do whatever you think is right in this situation. And Harry's like, I'll stick with you, Dumbledore, and I won't tell them anything. And he's like, good boy, Harry.
Dumbledore's
But like,
man through
just
and through.
because you work with Dumbledore doesn't mean you can also not help the Ministry.
Yeah.
Because Scrimgeour goes to the Burrow and is like, hey, man, maybe you could kind of be somewhat of a poster boy for us, is essentially what he was asking him, because he's this figure of hope.
Mhm.
And he went, hey, Scrimgeour, did you free Stan Shunpike from Azkaban?
No, he's
And
a
he's
Death
like,
Eater.
no. And he's like, then I won't help you. And it's like, okay, look, man, I get that
You met
maybe
this guy for like 10
I get
minutes.
He
that
drove me on the bus
Yeah.
and told me who.
yeah,
I would give my life for that
yeah,
man.
like, I get that this is some funny guy that you met like 2 times in your
You
lifetime.
know who you also met? Griphook. That guy turned out great, didn't he?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like honestly, like he vouches for this dude, and like is like, I'll never help you. And then later, it's essentially Stan's fault that Hedwig explodes, and it's
Yeah.
like, great job, Harry. Thanks for supporting the government here. And like, I get that they were going a little bit hard into it, and Dumbledore was kind of being secret about the way, like, because he obviously couldn't disclose everything that he knew about Voldemort, because there were worms in the Ministry.
Yeah.
And so, like, Harry didn't really know who to trust, but like, you can still do some things for the government. The government is still like, Scrimgeour was probably the best minister they had for a while, you know, because and then
Fudge just
he
an
like
idiot?
he was just a dumb idiot, and then
They couldn't get Dumbledore, so they got Fudge.
yeah, exactly, and that is exactly what happened. And then like, Scrimgeour I picture it as the elevator fight in Winter Soldier, the way Scrimgeour went down, because he just like kind of got cornered by like 6 Death Eaters because the Ministry was just taken over.
I always wondered about that too, because
Yeah.
he's just there, and then all of a sudden he's not.
Yeah.
And in the movies they just don't.
I don't
touch
remember
on it
how
at
they
all.
describe it. I think that it's that he went down with like a pretty big fight, but like it was all kind of hush hush. Like everyone knew it was gonna happen, and he knew it was gonna happen. So I imagine it's like, so are we just going to stand here, or are we going to fight?
And then he turns into a vampire.
Activate demon eyes.
I'm going to set your blood.
The Ministry stands strong. as he's getting blasted
Someone
by
chops his head off.
Abacadabra. Defender. Yeah. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably a good place to wrap up.
Yeah.
Don't want to run too long here.
Yeah, a shorter one.
We're figuring out how to get this on audio platforms. So, you know, like I know these are kind of long videos to just sit through. So if you want, once we get that figured out, we'll post it on social media. That we have that figured out, and so you can listen to it on your commute to work or, you know, your drive to school or whatever, and that'll be more accessible. So once we figure that out,
I mean, a lot of people have data. You can just listen to it, audio. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, is that how you were doing it before?
Yeah, I just had it on.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can't turn off YouTube.
Yeah.
You have to keep it on the whole time.
Yeah.
That's true.
and so
That's why it's kind of inconvenient.
That's why
but
it would be. It'll be more convenient when we have the audio format, and that's on the horizon. So, until then, it's been fun. That was I like when we jump all over the place because, like, Unorganized Thought is the name, and Unorganization is our game. But anyways, yeah, we got to think of a better sign off because, like,
Goodbye.
like,
we should cut to black there.
Yeah. Well, like Quinn was saying, instead of talking about ending it for half an hour and then eventually trailing off, we should think of some sort of a, like, you know, like catchphrase thing that we say, or maybe we'll just, like, we'll all go around to the wide and, like, slowly sink below the table. Bye, everyone.
They can still see
Oh!
The wide can still see under the table, can it?
I don't know.
Okay, get on the ground and crawl.
Get on the ground. Crawl out. Crawl out of view.
I think I can still see.
Don't let them see.
I can see your feeding.
It's over. It's over. It's over. Did I turn off?
Yeah. Nice.
That was good.